Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back to the show. We are excited to have Nathan Rose joining us here today live on the podcast and on the Zoomcast. He's the CEO and founder of Nate Rose Coaching. So welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you
Pleasure
doing?
to have you here. Doing great. You are probably better. You are in California, right?
Yes, I am. It's all overcast today, though, and it was all day yesterday too. So,
All right. All right.
yeah.
Same here in New York. We had some rain. But anyway, we're excited to have you. It's Anaheim, right? To be exact.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Now you have an amazing story, background, and clearly you're helping so many as a weight loss and fitness coach. First and foremost, tell us how we can reach you. What's the website?
The website is naterosecoaching.com.
All right. And
Yeah.
also, do you have a contact number or any social media pages you want to share?
Sure. You can go to, I guess, facebook.com/Nathan Rose Coaching, I believe. And you can contact me by my regular number, 714-655-6640. You want to get a hold of me?
Perfect. Well, before we dive into all the services you offer, let's dive into you. I know you're a former U.S. Marine security guard and you did active duties. Could you give us a little bit about your background as far as that's concerned?
Yes, I did 5 years in the Marine Corps, and then I got recalled after I was out for 2 years, went back down to Camp Pendleton as a combat instructor. My original job was 0311 infantry. So I did that for 2 years. I was stationed in 29 Palms. In my last 3 years, I was overseas as a Marine security guard. So I was stationed in Africa, N'Djamena, Chad to be specific. And then I finished my tour in Switzerland as
Uh,
a internal security, we had top secret clearance, that kind of stuff, working along with a lot of diplomats, but it was everything internal inside the embassy, nothing outside. And we carried the same gear as basically law enforcement.
oh my goodness. And where were you born and raised? Could you give us a little detail of your history and your passions and
Sure.
how you got into this?
Yeah, I was born in Hayward, California, and then when I was a few months old, moved to Northern California, Auburn, northeast of Sacramento, and I grew up there. And I guess how I kind of got into this industry as a whole, it started when I was in the Marine Corps, but before that, I wanted to play football at a very young age, but I couldn't do that until high school. But I was the smallest guy, if if not the smallest, like the second smallest. I was really tiny. Going into high school, I weighed like 112 pounds, so really small, playing football. And I was told that I'm too small. I'm going to get hurt. I'm going to get injured. I never believed that, but I also knew that I needed to train my body to try to help myself perform better on the field. And that was with basically lifting weights, learning how to build my body through fitness and through exercise so that I could perform better on the field. And that's what led me into this industry. But I was starting into my junior to senior year. I put on about 15 pounds, which was a lot for a guy
Mm,
my size. And I was starting all throughout the summer, and I started the first game, and then right after the first game, I got mono. Came down with
uh,
mono. We have a large spleen, and at that time, I was supposed to be out for about 3 weeks. I was only out for about a week because I was really healthy immune system, and I was very health conscious. So I guess my body got rid of it pretty quick. But lo and behold, I ended up losing my position to a junior. So I ended up riding the bench the rest of my senior
mhm,
year, where I was trying to maybe get a partial scholarship
mhm.
somewhere so I could play football because I know I didn't want to go to college and I
Yeah.
didn't want to pay for college because I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Mhm.
But that same week, I lost my starting position. I found out my girlfriend cheated with me with my best friend
Uh,
during the summer. And it was homecoming week. So I lost my homecoming date, my girlfriend, and my starting position all in the same week. And I'm just like, okay, this is nuts. And I just wanted out of high school. And I walked into the Marine recruiting office. I was there for 3 hours. I came home and I said, Dad, I want to join the Marine Corps. And I want to leave now. I want to take my GED. I want to get the hell out of Dodge. I'm done. I
wow.
didn't want to do any school sports. I was done with it because I was, so many other people were telling me what to do. And I'm just, it's supposed to be your best year. It was my worst year.
Mhm.
And all I did was look forward to getting out. I just wanted to leave. But my dad said, sure, you can when you turn 18. So the Marine recruiter called my dad and said, well, if he signs up right now, we have limited college funds, an extra $15,000 on top of the GI Bill if he signs this month. My dad's like, an extra 15 grand? Okay, let's sign. But I want to make sure that he spends his 18th birthday with me at home and then he goes to boot camp. No problem. So I
Wow.
signed up. I was in a delayed entry program for a year. And lo and behold, a week before I was supposed to go to boot camp, there's these numbers up on the board in recruiting offices. Hey, what do these letters mean off here next to their basically their occupational specialty, their job in the Marine Corps? Oh, that's the college fund. I'm like, how come those aren't next to my name? He goes, yeah, that's right. You signed up because you had the college fund. I said, exactly. Look at my file. It's not there. Come to find out, I was fraudulently enlisted. The
Ah,
recruiter put it in my file, made my dad sign, and then took it out. Never put it in there, so I didn't have it. So they had to kick me out of the delayed program. I had to retake the ASVAB test because I didn't qualify to get the college fund. So I had to study for a whole entire 6 weeks, restudy the ASVAB test, blew it out of the water. I could have qualified for any job I wanted. I still wanted to go infantry because I wanted to become a Marine
mm-hmm.
security guard.
Wow.
So then I ended up leaving in November that year, and I graduated, I guess, 1996 high school. Went to boot camp November, and I graduated on Valentine's Day from boot camp. Meritoriously promoted, and every step after that, I was meritoriously promoted all throughout my Marine Corps career.
Oh my goodness. Oh,
And
wow.
when I was in the Marine Corps is when I did the Body for Life challenge. When I did the Body for Life challenge, I ended up winning, and I was number one out of 10,000 people. You probably can't really see it, but that was the certificate that was sent to me by the owner of the company, that I got a free trip to Hawaii. And when I won the Body for Life challenge, I started coaching other people. What I did was a physique transformation challenge, and that just kind of led me into my career of fitness and health. And I've been doing that for 25 years now.
Oh my goodness. Wow, what a story. Oh my goodness. This is great. Well, we're thankful to have you here and excited to, discuss more about all the work you're doing. So let's get started with specifically some of the things that you offer. And I know mindset and vision is huge. We can talk about that as well.
Yeah, and we are going to talk about that today. But yeah, so I basically do weight loss and fitness coaching, private one-on-one mostly. Also do semi-private or group coaching. I also have a fitness and weight loss master classes, along with a 90-day physique transformation challenge or system that I created to help change your physique in a very quick time frame with reducing the amount of getting injured and risk
Okay.
of being injured. And that's incorporated into all of my coaching packages too. So people who work with us get access to that unlimited access.
Now, I mean, by the way, you are doing in-person work obviously as well in the California area, but you also do this virtually. Could you explain kind of how this works with your training?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I do one-on-one personally in the gyms. But that's because people have been with me like 10 plus years. I'm not really taking on new clients in, one-on-one trainings. But yeah, it's online. And what I do is I meet with them 3 or 4 times a month, maybe more, depending on how much accountability that they need. And I do 6 months or year packages. And I'm going to be holding them accountable, and they're going to be getting access to me 4 times a month, maybe 3 times a month. Semi-private is 4 times a month, and working with me for 30, 45, or an hour long during that time.
Mm-hmm.
And they're getting access to everything. So I'm creating their nutrition plan, I'm creating their workout plan, and then we're tweaking it, holding them accountable. They're sending me and having a log their results in on the fitness journal, on a measurement tracking page. And we do it over Zoom so that I can see them physically, see their energy, see their body, and they're sending me pictures, on a weekly basis too, to make sure that we're doing what we need to do in order to get them to their goal when they want to get there. And that's kind
Got
of how I do the online stuff.
so cool. All right. Well, thanks for sharing that. And then you also the Ripped Marine Fitness System. That's just one
Mhm.
of your programs, right? That's a 90-day customized program. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. So back when I got probably about 5, 6 years ago, I was trying to identify a sound system that kind of hit all of the areas that are necessary in order to change the body, but then maintain it.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, Body for Life was the best program at that point. But it also, I noticed that was as I was training a lot of older individuals, I shouldn't say older, but let's say people 40 and above. Okay. They weren't really older, I guess they were older, but I mean, I have clients in their 70s also. What I was noticing is that there are a lot of things that they can't do based on mobility, based on their bone and joint problems or surgeries. So the programs that existed at that point, I couldn't really use. with the clientele that I was serving. So I started to go on a search and find out if there was a program out there that actually hit everything and that could end up changing their body, but also maintain it for a long period of time and increase longevity and anti-aging at the same time. And it
Oh,
didn't exist. So that's what led me to create I call it the Rip Marine. I would just call it Get Ripped, but it's a 90-day physique transformation challenge that's also going to increase athletic performance. But I took out all of the high risk moves that like are involved in CrossFit and powerlifting, removed those because they're so high risk, that it's just not feasible for a majority of the people, and I'm not training that clientele anyway. So I took those things out, but then I kept in the things that are traditionally work, like in traditional bodybuilding, in weight training, in athletic performance. And I have a martial arts background, so I pulled in some martial arts and influence in there. I pulled in some of my Marine Corps background with the military, plus my bodybuilding experience, and put it into a sound system. But there was a missing link
yeah.
between everything that was out there, and it really came down to the mindset. The mindset wasn't being addressed, and that's why the weight loss industry is what it is. And what I did is I incorporated the mindset, was the kind of a core foundation of the Rip Marine fitness system that we started with. And I keep that as a focus throughout the whole entire program. And it's a 6 days a week program, although it's a lot less than it sounds. And it's 6 days a week that you work out, but two of the workouts are only 20 minutes long.
Wow.
And you don't work out more than 45 minutes. Shouldn't take you more than 47 minutes total to actually complete the workout from start to finish, including a warm up. So it's get in, get out, be done with it, and changes your body very quickly. And it starts with a really strong foundation, and then it builds upon it from there. So I start with the basics that are going to create a good foundation, kind of like if you're building a house, a really strong foundation. And then as you get stronger and more fit, then the exercises get more challenging. I increase stability and add in a bunch of stability and mobility stuff for the people who are going to end up needing it, but also we all need it. But
Mm-hmm.
because of the clientele I had at that time, mobility, balance, stability, coordination was a big deal. Just stepping off of curb when you go outside, getting up and down off the toilet, walking up and down stairs, little things that we take for granted, and it becoming really challenging later on. So knowing that, I incorporated these types of movements into the system so that you can perform better when you get outside the gym.
Yeah. All right. Well, hold on. We have to remind everyone of the website, all the ways we can contact you.
So you can go to naterosecoaching.com, and you can get a hold of me through my phone number, 714-655-6640.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And on the website, is that where we can also book a consultation too?
I will end up having a link on there. I believe you can, although I've been doing a whole bunch of reformatting of it. So
Yeah, it
I'm
looks
not
like your
sure if you can
website
actually go on.
changed, right?
It did. Yes, I changed it
Busy Pros, Fitness
drastically.
Elite or something. When I went on before, it looked different. It wasn't
It's completely different. Yeah. So I created a Busy Professionals Fitness Elite community that now people can get a hold of me through the community at a price point, I guess 100 times less than if you're actually coaching with me. But it's a group community, kind of trying to create a brotherhood where we can kind of everyone who's on the
yeah.
same fitness and health journey, who are busy professionals who have very limited time to exercise and dedicate to living a healthy lifestyle, can actually go there. And now they're surrounded by a bunch of other like-minded individuals who have the same goals, dreams, aspirations, also fears, frustrations, and pains, that we can all collaborate together and help elevate everybody in that community. So that's what I've now transitioned my business to get people started at a low entry level. And of course, if they want to accelerate their results, then that's when they would work with me privately one-on-one.
Got it. All right. Thank you for that. Well, what else did you want to share for your listeners today about the work you're doing, how you're helping them with health, wellness, and fitness?
Well, I want to start off with a question.
Sure.
And it was kind of like going back to, mindset, vision, and goals. And people probably might be asking themselves, well, what does the mind have to do with losing weight, getting into shape, and changing my physique? And to that, I say, have you ever thought that losing weight and getting into shape has nothing to do with diet and exercise? that maybe your brain and your mindset is holding you back, and it's not about your body at all. And now, if you've ever experienced yo-yo dieting,
Mm-hmm.
then this is the missing link. And
So many
that's
people
why
have
the
done that,
diet
right?
industry is so incredibly like $100 billion, is because the mind is what's holding them back.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes back to a whole bunch of different things. But the reason why I started and created the program that I did is because the first thing we have to do is we have to start with a vision
Okay.
of where we want to go,
Mm-hmm.
how we want to look, and most importantly, how we want to feel when we get there. And if we can focus on that and keep focused on that, then that's going to give us the mindset and the drive and the energy in order to do what's going to be necessary to get where we want to go. So
Got
it's
it.
kind of like creating a flight plan. So we know, let's say if I'm going from New York to LA, I know that I'm going to LA. But if I don't know where I'm starting from, then I have no idea how to get there. And as we create this flight plan, we're going to have things that are going to come up, challenges, weather. So we're going to have to make some adjustments along the way to our destination or our vision for ourselves of where we want to be, so that we can combat that and go around those obstacles. But if we don't know where we're at, we have no idea how we're going to get there. So first,
Okay.
we have to start with the vision of
Vision.
where we want to
Mm-hmm.
go and how we want to look and how we want to feel. But then we have to be honest with ourselves and we have to figure out where we're at. And it's funny because I ask some people, well, where are you currently? Most people have no clue, and they would rather bury their hand in the sand than actually find out where they're at, because they don't want to know. Why? Because it's going to be too painful, because then it's become a reality.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's no longer, I don't know. Now it's like, oh crap. It's kind of like, hey, you don't know, but you don't know. But then when you know, it's like, oh man, I didn't want to know that, because now you
Yeah.
can't deny it anymore. So now but as painful as it might be to find out where you're at, now you can actually create the game plan in order to get there. You can create that flight plan that's going to get you there so much faster, so much simpler, so much quicker. And most of the time we've been afraid to even find out where we're at, and that's stopping us from getting us where we're going, because we're just afraid.
Yeah.
Fear's holding us back. But once we actually figure it out, now we can create this game plan. And regardless how painful it is, it's an immediate pain and a reality, but you don't have to focus on that. And we're not going to focus on that. We're going to keep focusing on our vision of where we want to go. And that's because if we focus on where we're at, it's like a thermostat. We have a specific set point, and this is
Yep.
where the deity comes into play, right? If the thermostat is set at 75 degrees, and the temperature in the room rises above 75 degrees, the air conditioning is going to kick on to bring that temperature in the room back down to 75 degrees.
Yeah.
Our mindset is the same way. We have a set point in our mindset of how we look and feel in our body that we're comfortable with. Even if we want to make a change, if we haven't changed our set point or our paradigm based on how we think and feel about ourselves, we're going to slowly go right back to where our set point is, or our thermostat is. So even if we lose 10, 20, or 30 pounds, or even up to 100 pounds, and I've seen this before, people end up going all the way back to where they were,
Yeah.
because they haven't changed their paradigm is as such that they think they are this way and this is how they're supposed to be.
Mm.
So no matter what they do, they end up reverting all the way back to their paradigm. And the
Got it.
crazy thing about a paradigm is a mental program that has almost exclusive control over our habitual behavior.
Yeah.
And almost all of our behavior is habitual. And that's pretty crazy if you think about it.
But we could change our habits, right? It's possible.
And that's the key, is that it is possible if you know where you're at. Now you've created that possibility. You know where you want to go. Now you know where you're at, and you know other people have done it in the past, and maybe even you've done it in the past, but you couldn't understand why you went back, why you gained all the way back. Now you know it's because of your paradigm. So now if we change our paradigm, we change our new set point and we elevate our set point where this is where we're supposed to be, then we're never going to go back there again.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of time.
Ah, I love hearing though how it's possible to change. Do you want to share a client story or two? Or what else did you have in mind?
Um, well, now let me think. So I guess I had a client that I trained maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, and he was really struggling. He was trying to work out on his own. He was disciplined. He was getting to the gym about 5 o'clock in the morning. Pretty heavy, overweight, close to 300 pounds. Wasn't older. I want to say he was like mid 30s or maybe even late 20s. But he was struggling and he was kind of borderline some major health diseases, not to list them out, but I mean, if he didn't do something quick, then he was going to fall into that category where now he's going to be having to manage diseases for the rest of his life in a very, very early time in his life, right? So it was actually an old friend of mine or an old client of mine that actually paid for him to come and work with me because she knew that I was going to be able to help him. And that's the first time that's ever happened to me is I've had another client say, hey, I want this person to come and train with you and then I'm going to pay for him. And I'm like, whoa. And she paid for him for 2 months to work with me. And when we started training together, all he was doing was cardio because he wanted to
Mm-hmm.
lose weight because
Yeah.
he was a bigger guy. He was almost 300 pounds.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, no, we're not doing that.
Huh.
So I restructured. I said, hey, here's exactly what we're going to do. And the great thing is I just put him through my program that I already created. Now he's 300 pounds. And in 30 days, and he did not follow the program the way he's supposed to. Obviously, I gave him nutrition guidelines to say, here's what I want you to eat. He was still drinking. He'd miss a couple of workouts because he'd oversleep or something like that. So he was not perfect. But in 30 days, he lost 14 pounds and 3% body fat and zero loss of muscle.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was
Wow.
like, holy crap. And he didn't even follow it the way he was really supposed to. So when I did his measurements, I'm like, whoa, I'm like,
Uh-huh.
this is incredible. I'm like,
Yeah.
and he was honest at least with me that he didn't do this. Okay, I didn't eat this. Okay, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have my protein shake. Okay, I'm still drinking. I went out partying
I
with my
love it.
friends. And I'm like, imagine if you didn't. The results that you got in just 30
Yeah.
days of focused effort, and he was only working with me 3 times a week. It wasn't like he was doing a lot, but I did make sure that he was doing his other stuff that he was supposed to on his own. But again, he
Mm-hmm.
wasn't perfect, and that's what was possible. I'm like, this is great results. And even if he just kept doing that, he would have got continuous results, right? Because it would have continued that compounding effect of now he's achieved that, and now we can just build upon that, and we did. And I mean, it just has solidified with me that no matter where you're at,
Wow.
no matter what's going on. And the first thing I did, I said, I want you to take a before picture and I want you to find a picture of what you want to look like. And I said, what is your goal? What is your vision? And I said, and that's what we're focusing on. It's like, forget everything else. Don't even think about it. I just want you to think about where you want to go and what you want to look like and how you're going to feel when you get there.
Yeah.
I said, but we got to take that before picture because that before picture staring you in the face and
Yeah,
you
exactly.
go and open it like, oh hell no, I don't want to look like I'm not. Okay, I'm not going to grab that. I don't need that,
No, you
right?
need
You
to.
might want it, but you don't need it. And if you feed your body properly at the right times, you're not even going to want to have that bad thing and want this, So that was pretty amazing for me to see. And
I
it's one
love
of my
hearing.
best things ever. And it was only 30 days. I'm like, imagine if it was like 6 months. Holy smokes.
Well,
Well,
these are the
look
stories
right.
we love to hear and are grateful and thankful to have you. Unfortunately, we're out of time. Would you mind sharing how we can reach out to you? Thank you.
Absolutely. NateRoseCoaching.com. And you can just contact me directly at 714-655-6640. And I look forward to speaking with you and helping you on your fitness journey.
All right. Thank you so much. Pleasure having you here. And hopefully we'll connect again next week.
Yes, I'll see
Thank
you there.
you.
All right. Take
Have a
care.
good day. Bye bye.
Bye.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.